Welcome back on the VST channel. It's finally here. This is the Xiaomi 14 Ultra. I just received it, guys. This time it's from Wanda, and I'm gonna do an unboxing video with you, review the main specs of this very beautiful phone, and tell you also what follows next. By the way, I ordered this phone from Wanda Mobile. In case you have any questions, yes, this is the Chinese version, the Xiaomi 14 Ultra, co-engineered with Leica. Also, for the first time in an Ultra, we have the Xiaomi Hyper OS. And I'm very hyped about this phone. Well, why? Because it has the Leica 1-inch main sensor, really crazy good sensor. We already tested this in the Oppo Find X7 Ultra. It also has a stepless variable aperture, f1.63 to f4.0, which means you can basically control the amount of light hitting that sensor. Of course, it has the standard Leica quad camera system with different 6 focal lengths. Of course, comes with the Gen 3 with this very new all-around liquid display, which we already seen, by the way, in the Xiaomi 14. You might check my videos. And of course, it's a WQHD Plus dynamic AMOLED display. It can go up to 120 Hz and down to 1 Hz. So now let's see what do we have inside the box of this very beautiful phone. Why do I say very beautiful phone, guys? Well, because I have ordered the white version. First things first, we have the Xiaomi book, I guess. When you open this one here, we're gonna have, of course, also the SIM card ejector tool, and by the way, also the case. Let's see what the case is made of. Oh, wow. Interesting material, by the way. So the case is glossy, and that's really weird, guys. Like, this part here is not glossy, this part is glossy. Definitely weird. Yep, but it feels good, and it's also a bit hard, like hard plastic. Okay, so let's leave the case around, and now let's also try to see, besides the phone, what do we have. So this is the phone. Inside, of course, we're gonna get the crazy 90 watts super fast charger with the cable, and I will now also lift this aside and just make space for this very beautiful phone that is the Xiaomi 14 Ultra, for the first time on the VST channel, straight out of China, with the great help of Wanda Mobile. And by the way, guys, you can go and check the pricing. This beautiful baby cost me 1,100 euro. I have decided to order this with the white design. It has this Fox vegan leather. By the way, it feels very nice. I didn't really want to go with black because I got the black Xiaomi 13 Ultra. I then got the very nice blue Oppo Find X7 Ultra. So this time I said, listen, I am gonna go with the white design. You can also see it has an aluminum frame. Xiaomi claims on their website to have improved the frame strength with 1.38 times. So now they're using a brand new 6M42 integrated high strength aluminum frame material. The frame extends to the back of the body, double the rigidity compared to the Xiaomi 13 Pro, which is actually quite nice, and we can see it somehow. Like, this frame really is everywhere around the back of the phone, also transiting here into this very weird shape, and then boom, have a very straight line on the back. And I'm gonna also switch the phone for the first time. We have this all new liquid display, and of course it's powered by Android, so we have Hyper OS running with Android 13. On the back we have this new screen that is like at the same time curved and also flat. We've seen this first time on the Xiaomi 14 Pro. I got the Xiaomi 14 Pro, I did some nice videos about it. The Xiaomi Shield Glass also offers new improvements. Now they claim that it's brighter, it's clearer, and it has also wear resistant. So this is not Gorilla Glass, the one I'm gonna get on, let's say, standard Samsung phones. Xiaomi calls this the Shield Glass, and according to their website, it should boast a 10 times improvement in drop resistance. Of course, yeah, well, I will not test it, but they also claim to have improved the transparency, the robustness, and also the wear and tear on this screen. And just by looking at this, I can tell you, it really looks amazing. If you put the phone on the desk, of course, it will wobble. Why? Well, we have this monster camera setup here, guys, and you can see, you can pay attention, this is really indeed a monster. And now I think this is already like my 4th phone like this, so I'm starting to get used to this, and I even believe that it looks beautiful. They have this new vegan leather. By the way, it feels a bit different compared to the Turning Ultra. Now they are calling it the nanotech vegan leather. It's wear resistant, dirt resistant, and even more durable, which is actually quite nice, because every time I was just thinking buying a white phone, this was a problem. Like, okay, how well will this age? And specifically with the white color, guys, you know how it happens. But now Xiaomi are claiming that this should really be dirt resistant. So let's see what and how is this going to age. But I can tell you, it's a very beautiful color and a very beautiful design. And with this new aluminum frame that somehow is curved and then flat here and just goes all the way back, I can tell you, it feels like a very comfortable phone in my hand. The version that I got came with 12 GB of RAM and 256 GB of internal storage. There are all kind of options. You can go up to 16 GB of RAM, and also of course getting this with more storage inside. But I decided this is just enough for me and for my testing. Now let's speak about the screen. So this screen should have 3000 nits peak brightness, which is really a lot. Again, it can go down to 1 Hz and up to 120 Hz with using dynamic refresh rate, and of course it's an LTPO display. It has 522 ppi and it's WQHD+. It has also a 12-bit color depth. So right now when you put the phone, the refresh rate is gonna be the default one, which is the recommended. You can also click custom and you have these options. So you can either go 60 or 120 Hz. The display resolution, pay attention. I'm not sure why all these brands are doing this, maybe to save battery, but the stock display resolution is gonna be the FHD+. Now I'm gonna put the WQHD+ to just get really all the best that I can get from this phone. AI image enhance and all of this. If you click on the color scheme, we have the original color Pro. This phone supports the DCI-P3 color gamut, so we have also vivid, you have saturated, you have also advanced settings, you have also adaptive colors. I'm gonna stay right now and use the original color Pro, and I'm gonna also put the adaptive colors to the ambient light. Why not? You have all kind of settings, so it really looks promising. There is something very important to be addressed with this display. It is also certified by TÜV Rheinland. Those guys, German guys, professional level eye protection screen. The hardware level low blue light design reduces the harmful blue light by 50%. So the phone has an ambient light sensor and it supports dynamic DC dimming. The PWM dimming has 1920 Hz, which is actually crazy good. While on other flagship phones like the S24 Ultra and the iPhone 15 Pro Max, we have less, which means that even if you use this phone with very low brightness, right, in the dark, you should not be able to see this flickering. Like, I know that your eye cannot really pick up this flickering, but usually the camera can pick up flickering. With this display and the multi-level brightness adjustment, you should really have this real-time intelligent care that protects your eyes. This is what they claim on the site, but it has also been confirmed by TÜV Rheinland. So it's just not some random text out there for Xiaomi to flash with their display technology. Because TÜV Rheinland apparently certified it to be a flicker-free, circadian-friendly certified and low blue light hardware solution certified. And those three things, guys, are really huge. So I know a lot of people out there that have problems with their eyes by using different type of phones, specifically the ones that don't have DC dimming, so it's a bit tricky. And you probably watch also videos around PWM and DC dimming and etc. But apparently Xiaomi are checking all the boxes with their display here. Now let's turn the phone on the back and discuss this camera setup, because again, this really is meant to be a camera phone. Xiaomi worked again with Leica to co-engineer what they call the next generation of optical lens, and we already know that this is a great camera phone. Of course, I will need to confirm and test it. It has the 8-piece spherical high transmitting lens, all the nice coating to reduce the anti-glare, and also offers a very large aperture and excellent optical performance. Now we know that the aperture is stepless. You can go as down as f1.63 up to f4.0 stepless, guys. This is really great, and the idea behind this is to be able to capture very nice shots in low light environments, but also when you go outside in the very bright sun, to have very accurate color reproduction, resolution, contrast and everything. So of course I will put this to the test, but I already have a very good feeling about this phone. I've seen the samples, and even more, I've used the Oppo Find X7 Ultra with the very same main camera, the Sony LIT 1-inch sensor. Xiaomi claimed to have increased the light intake by 36% with using this new sensor, and this is compared with the light intake that Xiaomi 13 Ultra had, which already was a very nice phone, also using a Sony 1-inch sensor, the IMX989. So now they say with the new 1-inch LIT sensor, you're gonna be able to get 36% more light. Now, I don't know really how they measure it. They just say that enhanced light intake allows the camera to capture more details, to reduce the noise in low light settings, and of course provide some stunning photos, specifically in night conditions. They don't tell us how they measure it, but they claim that this phone can shoot with 36% more light, which is actually something incredible, because the Xiaomi 13 Ultra was already an incredible phone. Now, some words about this next gen. Like, a lot of these things about this phone are like called next gen. The 1-inch sensor really is the latest and greatest. Sony LIT 900, so 1-inch sensor. It has a 3.2 umicrons, 4:1 super pixel. This is really one of the best photos I've seen. I'm talking about the Oppo Find X7 Ultra. The shots, the portraits were so organic, guys. I was just thinking to sell my 18 years old DSLR. I have an original Canon EOS 5D. Like, the Oppo Find X7 Ultra was so good, and I really hope that Xiaomi 14 Ultra is gonna be able to also deliver, if not better, then at least the same quality. Now, something very important, guys, I talked a lot about the stepless variable aperture. Now, with this phone, the main camera can really very precisely control the amount of light, going from f4.0, which is very tiny, to f1.63, which is actually quite open, right? So they use some specific P blades to just do this very instantly. 12-bit high precision actuator behind this tiny motor that drives these little blades and allow the aperture to just go big or go small. And with f1.63, guys, I can tell you that's a really large aperture. This large aperture will give you control on the depth, so you're gonna get more natural depth, meaning more realistic field bokeh effects. In fact, I'm gonna demonstrate it right now. So I'm gonna take this object and I'm gonna show you in the promo. So right now I'm gonna do a picture with the highest aperture. All right, so let me just try to put it on focus. So this is gonna be 1.63, and now I'm gonna go up to 4, right? So 4 is the smallest aperture. And now take a look, guys. This is f4, right? And you can just see, right, that this object is also quite visible. And when I go to the f1.63, you can see the level of bokeh, like the natural depth is so high between those two apertures, and it's great that you can control this. See here, this is the highest one, f1.63, guys, and this is the lowest one. I can go and close it to f4.0, right? Even it was not f4.0, this one here is f4.0. Let's see how the phone will fit inside the case, all right? Okay, it's there. Now, honestly, I'm impressed. Why? Because if you have been following my channel, you know that I'm a big fan of the Samsung clear case. It doesn't have grip, like I'm joking, but of course it also doesn't offer any protection, and it feels the same here, guys. See, that part of the phone is very open, right? But at least it doesn't really add bulk. Now, what I don't like is the fact that, of course, you don't get to touch this very beautiful back. Now let's turn this beauty on the back and let me give you some more details about the cameras. As you've seen, this here is the main 23mm camera. It uses the Sony LIT 900, so it's 50 megapixel, guys. It can go from f1.63, which you've seen, to f4.0. It has this latest 8 pieces lenses from the Leica, and of course it's optically stabilized. So this here will give you 23mm. This here is the 75mm telephoto camera. So it uses a Sony IMX858. It's again 50 megapixels, and pay attention, guys, it has f1.8, which is actually a quite large aperture, 6-piece lenses, and again it has OIS, so it's optically stabilized, floating telephoto lens, and you can use it to do 10cm macro photography. Down below you're gonna get a 120mm periscope, again Sony IMX858, again 50 megapixel with an f aperture of 2.5. 30cm macro photography, and also optically stabilized. And this leaves us with the last camera. This is a 12mm ultra wide camera, again Sony IMX858, like so consistent, right? Sony LIT 900, everything else Sony IMX858, 50 megapixel again. It has a field of view of 122 degrees, f1.8 up an aperture, and 7-piece lenses. this can get you down to 5 centimeters macro photography. And this is how Xiaomi are trying to pull Apple's trick. So they're saying, hey guys, we are giving you 1, 2, 3, 4 lenses with 6 different focal lengths so that you can just do 12 millimeters up to 240 millimeters across 6 focal ranges, which really means that when you just switch on the camera, you're going to have these default 6 ranges. So of course we're gonna get the ultra wide starting from 0.5x, then we're gonna get a 1x, then we're gonna get a 2x shot, then we're gonna get the fourth focal length of 3.2. This is the optical magnification. Oh wow, just see really how different this is. Then we're gonna get the 5x optical magnification, which is the fifth focal length, and then guys we're gonna get a 10x zoom. So the 10x zoom here is gonna be hybrid, and this is why Xiaomi are telling us, hey guys, we are giving you 4 lenses, but hey, you have 6 focal lengths. And of course they're pulling also the trick that Apple and Samsung pull off with 10x, which is actually optical like. So here we don't have a real optical zoom, so we have 3.x and we have also 5x, and then we have here the ultra wide camera. This here of course is a periscope, so you can do also 10x, and hopefully the 10x quality is gonna be great. Of course I will have to put this to the test to be able to confirm. When you open the camera, you're going to see a macro button. With this phone, you should be also able to upgrade your macro photography, offering now different 3 focal lengths. So you can just do the 5 centimeter macro, right, using the ultra wide 12 millimeters. Then you can do a 10 centimeter macro. This is then using 75 millimeters. And then also you should be able to do a 30 centimeter macro, right? So with the press of a button here, you should be able to just use different cameras to just get the best on your macro photos. Again, something that I will put to the test. Xiaomi are claiming that the shutter speed of this phone can go as fast as 0.7 seconds to capture a photo, which means that eventually it should be almost like shutter like free. And they also included the fast shoot option. The moment you open the camera and you go inside the more settings, you can click on the fast shoot. I'm now using autofocus, but I can control the depth of field going from 0.6 to 5 millimeter, which is actually quite nice. Of course, autofocus is an option. Here I can choose the different focal lengths, and I like this. So the 23 millimeter is the main camera, then I guess a 28, which is going to be a crop. Then guys, you are starting to engage with the different cameras. By the way, we can already see this, guys. Now I think up to the 28 and up to the 35, we're still using the crop from the main camera. The moment I go to the higher focal length, you can see how the camera is jumping, and I guess this is because of course it's just changing the cameras. Inside the standard photo mode, there is no option to switch on the extended viewfinder, but if you want to get more extensive control on all of your settings, make sure to go to more and check the fast shoot. Now let's speak about computational photography, because that's a big thing now. Now Xiaomi claims to have used the first ever AI LM computational photography platform. On their website they mentioned that this uses 60 TOPS powerful computing power to just give the option to you to control different photography models. And this is really something that we have to put down to the test, but the idea is that your phone will really know what you're shooting even before you're pressing the shutter, right? And based on the information, from the viewfinder, again, even before you have pressed the shutter, you should be able to get this enhanced processing. Xiaomi included also the master portrait, so this should use like the real lights from the scene and try to apply the processing in a way that allows you to get some very realistic portrait photos. Now again, we have here the same options, so 23 millimeters, 35, 50 and 75, and I really like how they did the modes here. It looks somehow like 3D, really adds some depth to the whole interface. With this new master portrait, we should get really a very nice lighting and very nice shadow of fill. You should be able to also shoot raw photos. If you go to Pro mode and you click here, then you can select RAW or Ultra RAW. That can give you 16-bit ultra raw. But enough about the photos. What about the video? If I go inside and I switch on the front camera, can we do 4K 60? Yep, it seems that now we can do 4K 60 FPS. That looks kind of great, which is really good on the front camera. But who cares about the front camera? Probably nobody. If I click on the back camera, I have the options to do 4K. If I'm using HDR, I can do 4K 30 and 4K 24 FPS. If I am to stop the HDR, I can probably go and do 60 FPS. so HDR of course not supported, and I can also click and do 120 frames per second, so I can record up to 6 minutes. And the moment you do 4K 120 FPS, okay, no, only 6 minutes, and then it's going to end. Now 8K guys, I'm also able to do 8K resolution, 24 FPS, and also 30 FPS, right? Like 8K 30 FPS. The first time I've seen 8K 30 FPS was in the S24 Ultra. Now 8K 30 is also available here in the Xiaomi 14 Ultra. But not only this guys, like this phone should be really a killer for video. Let's check some of the video settings. Image stabilization, the auto frame rate, right? You have the video encoder. I can now choose also H.265 and Dolby Vision. Now Dolby Vision don't support motion tracking, right? So of course if I turn Dolby Vision on, I'm not gonna be able to use motion tracking. But can we do 4K 60 in Dolby Vision? Yes, we can. How do we know it's Dolby Vision? Because here we have this very nice watermark. Notice that this phone should be able to shoot like log files, so it's not like raw video, but let's say it's unprocessed video that will allow you to color grade it after you have shot the video, like in post-processing, which is really great. Now, how can you use this log video? You have to go back inside the Pro mode, right? Then you have to click here, and then you'll go into the Pro mode video. So let's say right now I want to do 4K 60, right? I can go inside the settings and I can click log, right? And you can just see really how desaturated everything is gonna be, right? Okay, let me show you. Right now I'm killing the log, right? And the moment I want to shoot log, boom, it's gonna be desaturated. I have to make this statement though, very important guys, don't mix it up. So log video is still gonna be compressed. It's not raw video, but it's very flat, meaning that you can just shoot a very flat video and then later in post-processing use different color LUTs and color grade it the way you want. And this here is just stock inside, so I really love it. I tested, by the way, the log video on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. You can check some of my older videos to see what you can do with different color LUTs in grading. And speaking about video guys, pay attention, there is a new tab called Movie here, right? And besides the fact that it looks a bit weird, there is something called Master Cinema. And the moment you switch Master Cinema on, guys, this is completely a new experience, or at least that's what Xiaomi claim, because the Master Cinema is recording high dynamic range videos or HDR videos in 10-bit Rec 2020, which means that you should be able to preserve more shadows, more highlights, presenting them on HDR screen with a dynamic range that closely resembles human vision. So this means right now, if I'm shooting in this mode, guys, I should be able to directly stream this on my TV, and my TV should recognize this is an HDR video. But let's check the options here. We have source tracking. Now have in mind that the Xiaomi 14 Ultra has 4 mics, like they have a 4 mic array all around the phone, which should be able to capture really some flawless sound. Some years ago, the microphones used by the Chinese phones were not the best quality, but in the last years, this has improved a lot. And I really hope that with now this new 4 mic array, Xiaomi are going to even further upgrade the audio quality in video recording. And last but not least, this phone is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. So we've seen this chip. I think this is my 4th phone with the 8 Gen 3, because I had the Xiaomi 14 Pro, I had the Oppo Find X7 Ultra, the S24 Ultra. So yes, this is my 4th phone with the 8 Gen 3, but I still want to see how Xiaomi implemented it. What about cooling? What about thermal management? What about throttling? So you can expect a lot of performance testing here on this phone versus the S24 Ultra and versus iPhone 15 Pro Max and etc. Also versus the 8 Gen 2, which is, I believe, already a legendary chip. And then of course also a lot of photo comparison, a lot of video comparison, because this phone really is all about photo and video. And guys, if you like videos like this, don't hesitate, sub for the channel. Thank you so much for watching. VST over and bye.